Okay, so we have the len function, and then remember I spoke about the trim function, which helps you cut out spaces in front or at the back. So we use the trim function just to be sure, in case someone puts a space in the front or at the back, so that we do not make that mistake of counting it also as words. So you use the trim function, okay, and there's the text. We want to count the number of words. Then after doing this, let's close this function. So we've closed both brackets. Then we can say, check the length, okay, of I spoke about the substitute function that you use to replace a text with another within a given text. So you can use it to replace a substring within a string with another. And then let's replace all the occurrences of space, all the spaces we have. Okay. Yeah, so I've closed the function. Then plus 1. Remember, as we said, the number of words in each sentence is actually the number of spaces we have plus 1. So what this formula is basically doing is first counting all the characters here, right? Removing the spaces in front or at the back with this trim. So it counts all the characters here. Then it says, what if we do not have any space? So it deletes all these spaces and then count it again. Remember, when you count all these characters, then you remove the spaces and then you count it again. The difference will actually be the number of spaces, right? Then plus 1, which, as we agreed, would give you the number of words. So if I press enter, it tells me 6. If you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's modify this and see if it's actually work. A ball is in the bag, and the bag is blue, but the drawer is red. Let's wrap it. It tells us 16. Let's confirm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this helps us to do that. Now, if I put multiple spaces here, can you see it's not affected? Even if I put multiple spaces here, it's not affected. But let me show you something. What if I take this trim out and use it without the trim? Can you see it counts it as 27 because all the spaces here and all the preceding and the other spaces behind the text are actually affecting the count. So that's why we actually use the trim function here to say, in case someone tries to play funny and put in all this text, you should be able to still manage it and give us the correct answer. So that's why we have the trim here. Now you understand one of the applications of trim. Okay, other functions you understand. Length would return the total length of the string. Substitute will actually change space and take the count afterwards. So that's what we actually have here. So this is a way you can count the number of words in a cell. There's a formula. You can save the formula and you can also practice with it just in case you need it. But then, so sometimes also you want to count the number of cells containing a text. Let me show you. Boy, a boy, some boys, a girl, a man, ladies, coins, guys. Okay, let's leave this space here. It will actually still make us understand the example better. So let's say I want to count all the cells. Okay, I want to actually count all the cells that have A. This letter A. All the cells that have letter A. I want to count them. What's best? So I can come here and say BOY does not have A, and then there is A here, and then count 1, and then do that one by one. But that really would not be effective, because imagine it's a column of like 1,000 rows. You can't do that one by one. How can you do that? You can actually just quickly put together a small formula. Remember we did COUNTIF some days ago on how you can use COUNTIF. So we're going to use the COUNTIF formula here to actually explain or to see how we can write up a formula to undo these things. So let's say COUNTIF. sorry, my bad, it can't. If, okay, then I want to count all, these cells here, but I want to give them a criteria. Remember, it's a criteria. Now if I put A, just A as my criteria, guess what it will tell me? 0. It will tell me 0 because it's looking at cells that are actually A. So if I say I have a A here, can you see it will tell me 1 because this is exactly A. But immediately you have space, it cancels it out. Because count if, we'd always look at an exact match. But there is a workaround in this kind of scenario. And what do? Here, you are now going to put this A in some form of quotes. You put it within asterisk. Asterisk is like a wildcard that as far as, there is A there, even though there are texts in front or there are texts at the back, as far as there is A there. Now, count if unlike defined function is not case sensitive, so it counts both capital A and small letter A. The only difference is it will only count one A, or it will only count one A per cell. So here that you have a man, it will see it as 1 and just count it as 1. But it will show you the number of cells because we are actually counting number of cells that contain A. So let's verify. This does not, this one does, this does not, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So if I put A here, it becomes 5, and even if I put space or anything there, it keeps it as 5. I hope you understand. So this is actually how you can count the number of cells that contains a particular or a specific text. So sometimes you have those texts that you want to be sure how many cells actually contain this text. This would help you to solve that easily. It will help you to address that kind of thing easily. So that's another example. Now the third thing I want to do, or another thing I quickly want to deal, is the text to column. It's not a function, but it's actually how do I describe it? It's one of the functionalities provided by Excel. Text to columns. So sometimes you have these texts, right? But you want to convert them to columns, or you want to convert them to rows. How do you do that? Let me copy something here. I think, okay, now let's use this as an example. Now look at this. I want to actually show you how I came about this from this. So I just copied this and I was able to come about this without typing one by one. Let me show you how it works. Basically, now Excel has a functionality called text to column. Now what text to column does for you is you can use it to actually identify patterns within a particular text and convert it to column. So imagine you have a long text like that, but you want individual word to be on a column each, because on a row each. How do you want to do that? Just come to the data tab. Okay, now I've highlighted the text that contains, or the cell that contains all the text. Then I click here. You see the text to column is under the data tools section. So you click the text to column. Okay, once you click the text to column, you have two options: the delimiter and the fixed limit. Fixed limit means you really would specify where you want your things to be, so it tries to identify it. Then you can also add more columns to it by double clicking, by clicking once, or remove columns by double clicking. But as you can see, it's not very accurate in the sense that when I just pick fixed limit and I say next, now look at what has happened here. These 3 items are supposed to be on individual columns, but it's putting them all together. But then there's another option I can use. It's called the delimiter. Now the delimiter is a way of saying every time you see this particular character, okay, make it a column, from a new column from there. Now in this case, we can see our text is separated by comma. So what it means is if I select this comma here, okay, can you see what happens? It actually identifies. So everywhere you see comma, it replaces it with a new column. So once I've done this, I will just say finish. Can you see what happened? It has separated the text into columns. Now because I want it to be like this, I want it not on a single row, I want it to be on a single column. What I just do is, remember in our first class, I think we were talking about paste options in Excel. So what you can just do is copy this. You copy the text. Okay, Then you right click where you want to paste. Let's say I want to paste here, and then you see the transpose paste. This paste transpose, can you see, if once you see this sign, it basically means it will turn all columns to rows and all rows to columns. Now because we actually have a single row here, it turns it to column. So if I click on it, can you see what happens? It basically just pastes it. But you will notice it's still not perfect here. There are some spaces right in front of some of this text, like this upper here, right here, like this find, replace. It's not well aligned. There are still spaces here and there. So what can you do? You can always trim off the spaces. Remember the trim function we did? You just trim up. You use the trim function here. You click on the cell, you press enter, you drag down. Look at what has happened. It has basically cleared off all the spaces in front and after the text for you. So then you can add other things from there. I hope you're able to understand that concept. You would need it in a couple of scenarios, especially when you're dealing with some, let's say you're trying to arrange an Excel sheet, okay, and you're trying to separate the columns and make it appear how you would want it to be. Text to column will usually come in handy then. Or when you've just copied the text, say from Notepad, you've copied it from Microsoft Word or from another source, and you just pasted in Excel and you want to work with them, text to column would always come in handy in cases like that. Thanks for joining the class. If you have any question, please feel free to drop it on our YouTube channel or drop it on either on our DMs or just tag us the questions on Twitter. We'd be glad to assist. Thank you.